year was fun. We had a lot of great things. So just as a general breakdown of how I kind of have this written out in my notes, I split up some general categories and things. Of course, on the channel, on the reaction channel, most of this year, if not all of the reactions that we did for the most part, were K-pop related in some way. In terms of variety, we're lacking variety. Also, I am a female dominated channel when it comes to groups and soloists and duos. I've come to notice that. So in terms of boy groups, it's cooked. GG's, it's cooked already. It's not even on purpose. I just feel like it's not even on purpose. I just feel like they're I don't know, bro. There is a surprise winner on here that I think a lot of people wouldn't guess. The categories are as follows. I'm just gonna jump into it. I got a couple categories similar to last year. I actually don't remember what I did last year. I didn't rewatch my video. I split it into solo. So like solo music, whether that's an album, an EP, or whatever. My like favorite like basically solo project or soloist of the year. Duo, also duo project, duo track, EP, album, or whatever. Trio, because I literally had to get super specific. Anything 4 and up is considered a group for me. And then I had solo, duo, trio, just to make it easier to pick, because by the gods, there's so many options. Okay, group right after trio. 5th gen, I couldn't make up my mind to pick a 5th gen favorite of the year, because I think 5th gen had been just cooking this year. So I just put some like general names of groups that personally caught my attention. There will be some left out names. That's just the nature of these. I had to stop putting names eventually. Standout artists. This is more so like a personal take. Artists that I've listened to a lot this year or heard music that I just vibed with. International groups, because we checked out a couple international groups. There will probably be no surprises with any of my picks. I think that one's probably gonna be the easiest category for people to guess up front. And then this is a fun category, the last one, I think. Best featured artist. So an artist that, when featured in tracks, again, this isn't categorized by anything, was my favorite featured artist of the year. If it's not ADP, this is clearly rigged. Fair enough. Or Baby Mon. Kendrick Lamar feature on S'more. Why would he feature on a S'mores drop? Solo standout of the year. Okay, I'm gonna start with some honorable mentions. I got 2 honorable mentions, and this year was so difficult. It came down to me flipping coins. It also came down to me looking at my Spotify Wrapped, which I think I don't know if I showed that on stream actually. These honorable mentions are equal bits also considered winners in my eyes. My first honorable mention is going to shock a lot of people, but I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off. My first honorable mention is gonna be Geo. Okay, it's gonna be Geo with her ATM track, and it specifically that track. Now, like I said, it didn't have to be an EP or an album to be considered solo drop or standout for me. Okay, this is a single track off a group album that stood out insane to me. Easily one of my favorite Geo tracks. Actually, it's my favorite Geo track drop from her specifically, and one of my favorite Twice drops too. But this is Geo. This is Geo pen. This is Geo production. Geo performance. Now, being dropped later into the year doesn't necessarily like decide whether or not I'm going to pick you as the winner. It's just those are also things that I did consider when going over solo. But nonetheless, Geo, if you haven't heard ATM or seen my reaction on that, check it out. You should be playing the songs you're talking about. You're right. I should have been playing Geo ATM. That's my fault. That is my fault. We're gonna let it vibe for a second. But yeah, Geo ATM had to go on the list. I feel like if I didn't pick it, I'd be smoking. I'd just be smoking. Cause in my bag. She starts us off. That's a solid pick. I think that's a good pick. Comment down below if you hate me for that pick being an honorable mention. If you do, I understand. You might be wondering who my second honorable mention is. This is gonna be another shocker. Like I said, all of them are winners. Second honorable mention is gonna go to Solgi. It's gonna go to Praying. Actually, here's the thing. Praying as a solo track stands out to me. The entire album, the entire second mini album that Solgi drop 2025. One of my favorite drops this year. She's my number 2 of the year because the entire accidentally on purpose mini album is phenomenal from top to bottom. If you guys haven't listened to it yet, check it out. YouTube, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Both just the artistry that Solgi displays as a soloist is my favorite out of Red Velvet. Seeing what Solgi does for solo work is amazing. I still got to listen to the first project all the way through, but I've been saving that for stream. But Accidentally on Purpose, absolute banger of a EP. Praying, one of my favorite solo tracks of the year. You might be wondering then, if I'm gonna put Geo and Solgi as my honorable mentions, then who the heck won solo of the year? They dropped some banger tracks. Fauna? No. This isn't really a surprise for me because I know how much I've played this project. But what's gonna surprise you guys? It's a male artist. That's right, it's not a female artist that I'm picking. Now I know this is really out of pocket for me. It is gonna be none other than Crush. Nobody would have guessed that it would be Crush. It's Crush, my solo winner. Crush. It has to be. This track, Frequency, is by far one of the best solo tracks to drop this year. I mean that. I played this track specifically, Frequency, a ton throughout the year. The entire Fang EP is amazing. This is the first Crush project that I listened to in full from top to bottom all the way through, and I was completely blown away. I was like, man, this is fire. What I didn't expect was how often I would actually replay all of the tracks on this EP. And what I like about it, unfortunately, I didn't pick up on this when we reacted to it on stream the first time. I didn't know that a lot of the tracks on this EP are sequenced directly next to each other. So if you're listening to the EP from top to bottom, some of the tracks play directly into each other. Like 251 ends with the intro to Frequency and kicks into that track. And I did not pick up on this when I listened to the project the first time. This happened after, when I was re-listening to the album top to bottom, just off stream. It was like, wow, just 10 out of 10 production, 10 out of 10 artist performance from Crush, 10 out of it couldn't have been better. I think it was cool with 6 tracks. I flipped a coin between Solgi and Crush winning. It was Crush. I wouldn't have been mad either way. Somebody had to win, and I'm happy that Crush got it. I'm happy that Fang is the EP walking away with my standout for 2025. If you haven't checked that out, give it a listen. If you love R&B, hip hop, just good solid vocal performance, give it a shot. There is another note on this EP that will come up later on in this video, but I'm not going to spoil that. But let's just say that there's another part of the EP that will be mentioned again. Those are my solo artists. I had Geo, I had Solgi, and I had Crush. I think those are solid picks, but YouTube, let me know, what did you get? Did you have 3 artists stand out? So could you even narrow it down to 3 or 1? Now we go on to duos. I'm not gonna lie, the duo category was easy. This was the easiest category that I had. A lot of y'all should know this. A lot of y'all already maybe guessed it in the comments, I don't know. But my duo, I almost said so. My duo standout, no competition, Irene and Solgi. Solgi, again, I guess, generational run. She gets featured on here twice already. Irene and Solgi, duo of the year, easy. Tilt mini album is phenomenal. What a project. This track playing in the background, Heaven. I think, if I remember correctly, that's my most played track of the year from my Spotify Wrapped, if I remember correctly from it, but I have to relook at that. Everything in this project is fire. Irene and Solgi are basically shocking my system of my lack of Red Velvet, because I want more Red Velvet. I want the whole group. But Irene and Solgi are keeping me alive.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
From an artist standpoint, these two mesh well. They mesh so good together. They did with the first project, and they did even better with the second project. They aren't scared to experiment when it comes to their music and the genres that they touch. Their title track, Tilt, and then Heaven and Trampoline, just like those three to name a few. They're not necessarily similar to each other, but they just have that flair that only Irene and Seulgi can do, you know, bring out in their music and in their performances. So it's just one of those things where those two paired together, I feel like can tackle whatever genre of music they want to do, whatever concept they want to do. I really hope for 2026 we get more of Irene and Seulgi. I would personally love Red Velvet as a whole too, but you know, that's just me, you know. Standout duo of the year for me. That was the easiest one. I'm curious to see what other people's duos are, because mine was that was a struggle. We're gonna go on to trios now. A bit more difficult. There's a lot of picks that I could pick in terms of trio, and that's just means like 3 artists of some kind were just on the same track, basically. I think I said it on stream. Second played track of the year for me. It is a project that did drop later in the year, so that's saying something. Second played track of the year late into the year. This is also a group technically, but I picked a trio within the group. What did I pick? Well, my trio of the year is not gonna go to Voxline XG. You thought it was gonna be Voxline. You thought. It is Twice. GOAT. So Twice. This is for a project. Let's talk about it. They did subgroups. They did subgroups and they split into like little trios. Of course, Nayeon and Geo did a duo with Talk. I'm not gonna say not a contest because it was kind of tough. It was not an easy decision, but it was a decision that second favorite song of the year. It goes to GOAT. Daeyeon, Mina, and Chaeyoung. I feel like they're just built different together, you know? I don't know, bro. Just built different together. That is a trio that I didn't see coming, but I'm happy it happened. You know what I'm saying? I could have sworn Daeyeon had a writing credit on this, but I think I'm misremembering that for another track. Twice, dude. Twice, GOAT. That's my standout trio track of the year. It's so replayable, so dumb, so cool, like so different from a K-pop standard track too, which a lot of my picks, I think y'all have noticed the standard K-pop formula. I'm curious to see people's trios. I think trio category has a lot of potential for just a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie. This is the fun one. Group track. Okay, I'm doing an audible because I'm looking at my list and my notes and I want to change some things up. I'm gonna do group track and then group standout of the year. Group track of the year gets, I think I did 2 honorable mentions for group track of the year. So specifically one track from a group that stood out to me. First honorable mention, a controversial one to all the TikTok people or Twitter warriors. I wonder what group I'm about to pick. It's Kiss of Life. I'm going with Lips His Kiss. This track could have won track of the year for me for groups. It really could have. That's why it's an honorable mention. I love this track. It's one of my favorites of the year. For Kiss of Life discography, also it's one of my favorites of their discography, because before, I feel like with a lot of their tracks, I've liked a lot of their tracks and vibe with it. I also had felt like there was like another level that their production could go through to round out some of their tracks and really make them super replayable, because some of their tracks on like one listen maybe is chill, but like repeating over and over again, I'd be like, I don't know, and then move on to the next thing. This track right here is just replayable. It's just right there on that smooth R&B tip. I love this track for their voices, for their performance, for just the dynamic of Kiss of Life. I think this is just a solid project, and I'm happy this got title track. I really am, because I can't think of a lot of groups that would have a track like this as their title track, if that makes sense, especially in the space of K-pop. I have to pick them. It's just that I had to do it. My second honorable mention is going to be an interesting one, but it's one that, like, when I think back as on the reaction, it's just such a funny track. It's a vibe. It's a summer banger. It dropped in the heat of summer. My confusion of what's going on with all these lemons. You might have heard me say that a lot during a lot of drops during the summertime this year if you were tapped in with the channel. It's AT's Lemon Drop. I'm going AT's Lemon Drop, bro. This song, bang! This song, in terms of like just summer vibe, Yeah, man, I had to pick Lemon Drop. ATEEZ obviously is one of my favorite boy groups in the space. Y'all have seen me post ATEEZ more often than any other guy group on my channel probably. So can we put Son somewhere on the screen? No. Lemon Drop easily is one of my favorite drops this year, especially during the summertime. That reaction was a blur. I rewatched it, or at some point I was like in a tank top or something. I don't even know what happened. It was wild. My brother likes this track even more than me, and it's wild, bro. We love this song. But if ATEEZ and Kiss of Life get the honorable mentions, then who gets the group track of the year? This should not be a shocker to anybody. I have already said who was going to get the group track of the year at the start of the year. It's not even really a surprise. It is a girl group as well. It is a female group. If you're still confused, it's fine. You might have missed the signs, but the signs were there. It's going to be NMIXX. It's going to be NMIXX. No About Me. Easily group track of the year. I've said this when this project dropped. This dropped earlier on into the year, that this track would get the group track of the year from me. I said it at the start of the year. It did not change. It did not change. This is my single favorite group track to drop this year. People who followed along with the channel too know that with NMIXX specifically started out on the channel as a project to basically catch up on where I left off with NMIXX. They were a new group and they debuted. On my channel, I have an NMIXX redemption arc. It's because I have openly said, and I'm very, very honest in saying, that I did not like NMIXX at the start when they debuted, and to this day I'm very honest and direct in saying that their debut track is one of like the worst debut tracks that I've heard for a group. And I've said that many times. That's why I have an NMIXX redemption arc. A lot of people have differing opinions on that. That's fine. That's the whole reason as to why I did an NMIXX redemption arc, is I had heard that and then was like, bruh, nah, gone. Bruh, nah, mixed pop is not for me, gang. Not for me, gang. I was like, gone. You know, the whole experience of doing the K-pop reactions, or just doing reactions to music in general, getting to see the variety of like music out there. So I was like, in my head, I was just like, I'm just gonna revisit NMIXX. Full transparency, I didn't think that this would be a series that people would even be interested in or like, because I feel like, I don't know, whenever I see K-pop reactions specifically, I feel like a lot of people tread on eggshells and they're scared to really voice their opinion on things because of basically the outrage of the fandoms and things like that. So I didn't think that people would like the NMIXX redemption arc, because I'm coming into it not liking the group. I'm not saying I disliked the individuals like on a human level. No, I got nothing against nobody. It's not that deep. On a music level, I was not a fan of where the group debuted. Going through the entire redemption arc, getting to where we were, and then FE3044 Forward drops, obviously, and then the title track is Know About Me. Never in a million years would I guess that they would have a title track that sounds like this. Ever. Never. This completely caught me off guard. The MV is one of the best MVs to drop this year. The track is one of the best tracks to drop this year. Everything about that singular track, that singular project, is just perfectly well done. This was the easiest pick for me. A couple tracks I did get close, obviously the honorable mentions show that, but I could not pick NMIXX. I listen to this track now, it's still the same level of shock and awe as the first time I listened to it, and that very, very rarely happens. Like I said, I did an audible because I do also want to say, or add a category of group, standout group of the year. This is not categorized specifically to generation, just a standout group. NMIXX getting group track of the year, you could also, I'm gonna put them in as an honorable mention just for that too, because they really did make some moves this year. I think if I liked Blue Valentine Project more, they would have got both. My group standout of the year should not be a surprise to anybody. I think last year I picked XG, I'm pretty sure. And this year it is not XG, actually. Twice is the standout group of the year. Easy. No, not easy. There are a lot of really good groups. Twice simply was on a generational run this year. They had so many projects going on at once, so many drops. They had the freaking This Is 4 album. They dropped the 10 album after dropping Enemy. Now Enemy, the Japanese release, that was not one of my favorites. It's actually my least favorite of the Twice drops, but just the sheer amount of content, the amount of just stuff while touring, mind you, and that's not even counting K-pop Demon Hunters and the tracks that it featured on in there. I can't fathom picking another group to be my standout group of the year over Twice. I can't fathom it this year. They simply were moving different. They're in a whole new era for this group as a whole. If YouTube haven't seen the Twice Marathon Deep Dive series on the YouTube channel, tap into that. Self promo, I know, but genuinely tap into it. If you don't know Twice, that's a good way to start too. I didn't know Twice, did the deep dive series. It's great. If you want to see it in entirety, it's on Patreon, again, self promo, whatever. But if you're interested in that sort of thing, check it out. The Twice run, just generational, honestly. VVS stood out to me. They were willing to go against the grain for their debut, for their tracks, for the music that they dropped. I really like the fact that they went against the norm. VVS is technically not a official pick. I guess they were an honorable mention for me for standout group. Y'all remember when I heard this teaser on stream for the first time for Dim? That was like pause, like what am I hearing? I had to pause and just go, oh my god, this is so fire. I can't wait for VVS to drop again. I really can't. My brother's the same way. But yeah, if y'all don't know VVS Discog yet, check it out. Self promo, check out my reaction to their Discog. It's all there. I think I did a reaction to everything that they dropped. Okay, 5th gen standouts. I guess VVS could have slotted into this category. I'm gonna subtle nod towards VVS again. I have 6 picks for 5th gen standouts this year. There is no order for these. All the groups for 5th gen standout, they all did something, obviously, that stood out to me this year. My first 5th gen standout is going to be very simple, and their debut stood out to me crazy. They dropped 2 tracks as their debut track, so sniping everything. It's Hearts to Hearts. It is Hearts to Hearts. But I'm not gonna lie, the Focus mini album is one of the best 5th gen projects this year. If you haven't heard Focus yet by Hearts to Hearts, you need to. That project is so fantastic. And I remember listening to this group for the first time. The Chase and Butterflies as their first 2 tracks. I love The Chase and I love Butterflies. Both of those tracks I thought were amazing first tracks to drop for a new group. And I also remember saying at the time, hey, I'm just curious to see what sound they end up targeting as they go on. I've been happy to see that I'm not disappointed in the direction that they're going with this group. They know very well that this group is designed with 10 out of 10 vocalists. The performance even is solid, but for me, my standout of this group is the vocal composition of the members. Okay, everybody pulls their weight, everybody stands out, but they don't stand out in a way that's like one eclipses the other. They're just all solid. So Hearts to Hearts, easy. I had to pick them. Like I really did. Butterflies was a great debut, but Apple Pie I've played so much too, and Blue Moon from the Focus mini album. Insane. It's insane. I feel like this group is gonna terrorize 2026. I really hope they do too. This group had to be up there for 5th gen standouts. I'm gonna move on to the next one. I'm so happy that their debut album got as much traction as it did. They debuted, I think, with 2 tracks, if I remember correctly, similar to Hearts to Hearts. The group was a lot lesser known because they're not from like a big 3 label. It is If I. I don't know how a waiver is sniping these. Are You Okay is one of my favorite title tracks for 5th gen groups. This was amazing. Fantastic track, fantastic video, and we had amazing member standouts. Their performance is on another level. We checked out their studio Choom on Are You Okay? And this it didn't just solidify, it was like, oh yeah, I was already on board with If I after IRL and Bubble Up, and then watching the studio tune of just Are You Okay was like, oh dude, I'm sold. Yeah, it's insane. If you haven't listened to IFI, check it out. I'm so happy that their debut album again is getting as much recognition as it is, but I feel like they just have even more that they can do going into 2026. I'm excited. That's gonna be a really cool group to look out for. Now, my next one, this one's gonna be a shock and also not a shock because of the way their debut project went in terms of me liking it. They are a big group right now. They got a lot of recognition off rip. This group is gonna shock a lot of people. I didn't really like the full EP when it dropped, but I did like the potential that I'm seeing within this group and the debut. Kiki is a solid guess, but it is not Kiki. In fact, it's a guy group. It's gonna go to Cordis. This one's gonna be an interesting one to you guys who are on the Twitch side and YouTube. You haven't seen the album reaction. This is technically a spoiler to that. I think I'm gonna drop the album reaction video because I found the recording to it. That has Fashion. It has the entire album reaction for the first drop. Was not a big fan of the drop as a whole. I'm gonna be real. This group could go crazy if they were to do kind of what they did with Go. Go went viral for a reason. Go has a dance challenge for a reason. Go is going stupid everywhere outside of the K-pop spaces for a reason. But then the rest of the album decided, let's try some like indie pop, dude. Let's try some like indie rock, bro. Let's just like, why? I still think Cordis is a great standout though. I really do. I feel like going forward, I just see this mad potential. I think it was what's his name, Martin. He produced this. Martin, the producer in this group, he's a dog, bro. I didn't know how many tracks he produced until later. My next standout group is gonna be a shocker to nobody. They were a standout group to me last year. It's Racine. If you know who Racine is, if you tapped into Racine yet, you know that Racine simply is just built different. You know that they spawned in already at a level here and they just continue to creep up. Lip Balm album was good. Lip Balm EP, it wasn't a full album drop. Fantastic project this year. This group continues to just blow my mind. It's just vocalist on vocalist on vocalist on vocalist. There's not a weak link. Whenever I think I pick a favorite, it gets switched up to somebody else. They don't really, like, they just have music in there that's like no skips. Even my favorite artists or favorite like soloists, they're gonna have a track or two that I don't like or don't vibe with, but they'll still be in my favorites. That's what Racine did with Syndrome at a point, but like didn't change anything for me. Still a standout group. So if you haven't listened to Racine, check out Racine. Next one is also a bit more, I guess, lesser known. I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe lesser known is not actually. No, that's not accurate. Never mind. I just happened to look at the numbers. I hadn't looked at the numbers since I recorded them for the first time. Frag sniped this. It is going to be At Heart. I don't know what I was expecting when I checked out At Heart for the first time, but it sure as hell wasn't what I'm hearing right now. At Heart is simply just one of those groups where you stumble onto their music. This is a group where I would find them on a Spotify random shuffle off stream and I would still vibe with them. That's what this group is. Like, they just are solid. Plot Twist is an amazing debut track. It's super like kind of like suspenseful, little eerie, but I love the production elements of the video and the song. It's just solid. And then I heard Pushback and I was like, all right. I've also said this before in the past. I'm on the side of like, if I hear like in K-pop like Afro beats and stuff being incorporated into tracks and stuff, I personally love it. I think it's cool. It just adds some flavor, you know what I'm saying? I love it. I know there's a lot of people who also don't like that. That's their prerogative. Don't care. This is my list. Don't care. So fantastic. The red-haired menace did. She was so. Look at the Pushback performance. Red-haired menace will. It'll all make sense. I made a video for that. But yeah, At Heart. That was one. I thought that was gonna be the one y'all wouldn't snipe. But so far, you guys are sniping everything, and I don't know how to feel about that. Am I just predictable? However, this next standout, the last standout, is you guys are not gonna guess. I'll even go as far as to say it is another boy group who is the next standout. Ah, crap. Dang, I could have did two more. You got Zykers as a guess. You got Arc as a guess. 82 Major as a guess. That's solid. You got Identity as a guess. Identity, I will say, was on this list. I reacted to them very recently on the channel for the first time as a full project to listen, and technically I heard them a while ago for the first time on stream with like one track, and my brother was with me. It's not X Love. Solid guess. That's a solid guess. TXT, not TXT. Frag got it. Shocked you guys. It's gonna be Close Your Eyes. And my reason is simple. This group, I had never bothered to react to them yet, but Spotify has this neat little thing called Spotify Random Shuffle. And occasionally, whenever it's on a Spotify Random Shuffle, a Close Your Eyes track would start. And I've been like, dang, who's this? I peek, close your eyes, turn it off, pause, go on to the next track. And I'm like, okay, that was crazy. Noted. Does it again. Who's that? I look at it. Boom. Close your eyes. Wow. Pause. Move on. Okay, now I gotta react to them. Does it again. What track is that? Close your eyes. Dang. Pause. Move on. Then I recorded Blackout. This track X is their title track on this project. Their vocals are crazy. We're gonna play Who's That for Jane Doe. Genuinely, I'm really liking what I'm hearing. And I've only reacted to one full project by them, but they're gonna get a Fichin standout for me. Now, you guys had some really solid guesses as to other standouts that I could have listed, and actually you got the other two that I was thinking of. I'm gonna just mention them briefly because they weren't on the original list, but it was Arc and Identity as well. Arc and Identity as well they were making moves too for guy groups, I can't lie. However, I could continue the list even further. Zykers and Rise, but that's why I stopped where I'm at. Nightlife is one of the best B-sides of the year. Nightlife is fantastic. Just a little taste here of Arc sound, yeah. Because Arc's under Mystic Story, right? I'm not misremembering, right? Arc's under Mystic Story, who's also the label that Billy is under. We expect nothing less in terms of music production and quality for them. Identity definitely had to be up there too. With Zykers and Rise, I'm not even gonna bother. Like, bro, we could really go on and on. We move on to the next category now. This one's gonna be fun. I don't know that anybody's gonna get this, but then again, you guys have been sniping every single one of my guesses, or every single one of my picks, which is borderline diabolical. This is gonna be funny. They're all soloists, and just to make it easier for you guys to try to snipe, they are all female artists. Total of 3. Technically 4, but I did 3 just for simplicity. Okay, first one, you guys aren't gonna guess. She's a soloist. She's under SM Entertainment. That is a massive hint. Soloist under SM Entertainment, and is a standout artist for me. What genre of music do I like? R&B. It's R&B. It's not Fauna. You just said, when'd you guys? Oh my God, you did. It was earlier. I didn't see that. It is Min Ji Woon. This artist, I feel like she doesn't get enough recognition for the music that she drops. She dropped Pink Then Gray this year. Levitating. Oh man, what a fantastic vocalist. It's not even like crazy performances. This is why I say I'm very much a vocal bias or vocal heavy person. Always have been all my life. The understanding of every genre that she's covered, and specifically R&B, is so fantastic, bro. Love this artist. I feel like Min Ji Woon should be more recognized outwardly by even people who don't listen to K-pop as a thing, because I feel like if you like R&B even, you would love her music, because she's a phenomenal artist. Sentimental Love and Someone are the first 2 tracks that I ever heard by her, and I was like, wow, this artist is crazy. Listen to this drop in Scared of Love. It's like, the production is there, the artistry is there, visuals there, but honestly, I love the music first. I will clip farm on visuals and stuff a lot. I will clip farm on visuals and stuff a lot because it's funny, but I am a music first type of person, and Min Ji-woon, easily one of my favorite standout artists of the year. The next one is not gonna be guessed because no one has guessed her. YSY is a fun shout, but she didn't make my list yet because she literally just debuted. You're in Beck, I also solid guess, but I only listened to the one track on stream. Joy Yuri is a fantastic, yeah, I didn't even think of Joy Yuri. I think it's because of exactly what you said. If she had dropped even more music, she would have been like, but even still, I listened to a lot of Joy Yuri this year. Yeji. When did I react to Yeji? When? I didn't even react to Yeji. It's an artist that really not a lot of people know. Silly Silky. Love everything about this artist. All of her music is a banger, and I mean that. I've gone through and playlisted almost everything by Silly Silky, and again, this is a much lesser known artist, I'd say, but warranted. This track Murmur, I've been playing non-stop since she dropped it, and she dropped it fairly recently too. That's the crazy thing. But go back, listen to Silly Silky. If you haven't, you will not be disappointed. If you like Min Ji-woon, you're probably like Silly Silky. Not like they're identical to each other. Yeah, I still think you would. And on this note, if you like Silly Silky, you would like Itzel as well. That's another artist pick. Technically, I didn't put her on the list, but if you like Silly Silky, I think you would like Itzel as well. Silly Silky is a freak, and I love it. I'm kidding. Well, the next standout artist for me isn't gonna help me beat the allegations, that's for sure. This is an artist that also had to go on my list. Massive standout. In all caps, Fauna said it with chest. Summer Cake. It's Summer Cake. She I'm never beating the allegations, am I? I know that I literally said too, I'm a music first type of person, which I really am. And Summer Cake is not an exception to that. And I said it in my most recent reaction. She's a fantastic artist vocally, who also happens to be a baddie. It just is what it is. But in terms of music, Summer Cake's discography is so solid. I've playlisted almost every track that I've ever heard by Summer Cake. This track, Used To, we just heard from a recent project drop. 2 tracks, some of her more like wholesome joints in terms of the music and the MV. If you aren't tapped into Summer Cake, maybe start with that. But if you want something that's a bit more kind of like, look, a bit more spicy, you could go with Bake or Squat, which is one of my favorite songs this year. Now, this artist, going on from Summer Cake, this one is a very new artist to me this year. You guys did guess her, actually. Olivia Marsh. Definitely a standout artist. I was gonna put Olivia Marsh with Min Ji-woon because we checked both of them out at the same time. They were in the same YouTube video, basically. She blocked you on IG yet? Nah. We checked out the Meanwhile EP or album or whatever the heck it's classified as. That was the first like exposure to who Olivia Marsh was. Even though I knew of New Jeans on like Danielle, and I knew that she had a sister, I didn't know that her sister was also into like music, and I didn't know at what level of artistry we are at. Olivia Marsh is insanely good. I think I've also playlisted almost every single track that she had posted. It was Waterworks was the one that made me check out the rest of her projects. So Olivia Marsh definitely deserves a shout out there. That will conclude the category of standout artist. Observant members of the community will notice a very clear missing name in my standout artist selection, and it's because I created a totally separate subcategory for them. We'll touch on that here in a sec. Let's move on. International group standouts. The S'mores category. I'll spoil this. S'mores did not make my list. I forgot that they were in there. Yeah, I forgot. I'm so sorry. Let's start with the first group. This will come as a shocker to no one. Somebody bar for bar sniped this, which is annoying. It's Nona. Yeah, Nona is the standout international group for me this year. So technically, if I was ranking it, they're number 1 for me in terms of standout, but I didn't know what I was getting into when I got the No Nah Rex. This group debuted with an insane level of musical artistry. Vocal dynamics are on 10. Every time they drop, I'm kind of stun locked, which is wild. At first, no, that's a lie. I was gonna say at first it was more so just the joke of it, but then it became real. Now it was real from the jump. I can't lie. Can we put Christy somewhere on the screen? I will refrain from doing that. On a visuals thing, dude, no, not as from a visual standpoint. My brain went to mush. I was like, wow. And then I saw Indosana, aka Christy. Visually, every single one of them is just visually stunning. Solid performers too. If you've seen their dance like performances for each track, I really like the style that they go with for every drop to this point. MV and music production quality, like just the production teams are solid. I feel like the teams for their videos and their music production help to really bring to life the talent of the four members. Four talented members getting also deservedly the level of production that they deserve too. So Esther is a favorite vocalist in that group and one of my favorite solo vocalists that I heard this year. My next standout is gonna go to a group that you would have thought I would have mentioned earlier on. It was XG. It's XG, dude. I would have mentioned XG earlier, but like again, their next project isn't until this year. Here for it. XG will forever be a standout international group for me. That will not change. XG is a standout international group. I'm not even bothering going into too much detail because XG, if you follow the channel, you know my bias there already. Let's go to the next one. The next one is a new group. I've listened to one thing by them. Yeah, Girl Set. I didn't know what I was gonna get into when reacting to this group the first time, but I was thoroughly impressed with what we ended up getting. The MV was fantastic. The song, listen to this. It bounces. It make me feel like a bad bitch, and I'm not even honestly shocked me when I saw it. I was like, wow, okay, I'm looking at the construction of the group, the diversity of the members, the sound that we get from the track. Obviously it's going to be pretty well produced, but dang, very well impressed. I like the vocals and I like where we can go with this. And this was JYP's their counter girl group to Hybe with like Cat's Eye, and I think you would also assume with me picking Girl Set I would have Cat's Eye on there, and yes and no. They're in this weird middle ground for me because I really like some of their drops and then I really don't like some of their drops. So it's kind of like they're in the mention, I'd say. And then the last group on my list here for international group, wow, I wonder who this could be. It's Dala. Yeah. I had never reacted to or listened to like a Malaysian group before, Dala, and brother, I feel like this group was just simply unfair. It was just simply unfair. Craziest heartbreak arc of 2025. Top 10 anime betrayals. So YouTube comments, if you haven't been following along with the Dala saga, shout out to Sabranzo. Happy marriage to you and your happy marriage to you and your husband. I hope that y'all are happy and it's cool arc. We will now be pivoting to Angel until she also gets married. No, but seriously though, Dala is one of those standout groups for me. Music production solid. I haven't loved every single drop that they have dropped. Let me be clear on that too. If you followed along with my reactions, it's not like I've loved every single drop. There are my standout ones. I feel like Dala is just a solid group. Really cool. They're down to 3 members now, obviously, but even still going from 4 to 3, I don't think that like hurt them. I don't think that hurt them in terms of quality. Dala, I think, was very much an obvious pick to be mentioned at some point. Next category is best featured artist. The artist that I think whenever they're featured on a track elevates that track tenfold. Basically, this category was tailor-made for one artist and one artist only. There are no videos of me reacting to this artist on the channel. This is an artist that I organically came across, really wanted to make a full-fledged breakdown video and nerd out on her music. Boy, oh boy, yeah, I wonder who. Anyway, it's Sumin. Sumin is, and here's why I made a category for her. I'm skipping to Sumin's part. Remember when I said I was gonna bring up Crush Out EP again? Up All Night? Who's the artist feature on it? Sumin is an artist feature on this. Now, Chaeyoung Ribbon. That was the one that I was thinking of. Sumin as an artist is my oh wait, hold on. I had the category standout artist period. Couldn't be Sumin because she didn't drop in 2025. She dropped in 2024. She dropped her mini-series album in 2024, miniseries 2. The thing that made me mad is I wanted so bad to just say screw it, I'm gonna break the rules and bring in Sumin anyway. I technically can't put her in standout artist there, but I can loophole it and make her best featured artist, and also compliment the fact that she genuinely is one of the best Korean artists I've ever found, ever. That's why Sumin gets a totally separate category. If you've never listened to Sumin's music, first off, she is like her own producer, writer, singer, performer. She does everything. I've never gone through someone's discography, and I said this earlier, where it's unrealistic to love every drop of your favorite artist. She damn near is the exception. I think there's one track or maybe two that I've not liked that I've heard, but it's really close. If you haven't listened to Sumin's discography, if you haven't tapped into her work, do it, just do it. You will not be disappointed. Easily one of the best artists out there for Korean artists, or just in general artists. Easy. All her music is super replayable, well constructed, well produced. Sumin, I'm telling you, every track that Sumin is on in any way, shape, or form, whether she's the main artist or a feature, she elevates it. Simple. It's like it's like Bruno Mars. If you get a Bruno Mars feature, you just got a track that is now suddenly gonna hit 6 billion views. It's like that, except not to the billion view technical level, technically, but like, you know, that's how I feel. So fight me. With that wraps up 2025 wrap up. That does it. Those are all my artists, soloists, songs, everything. I feel like I had a lot of artists that people wouldn't necessarily immediately think of or go to.